Burj Khalifa, this is the tallest building in the world. And Malaysia 450-meter Twin Tower, you probably know this one also. These are made by Samsung. Earlier, they were selling fish, noodles, and vegetables. But today, this company also works in fighter jets, ships, tanks, consumer electronics, and also in insurance, finance, and chemical, and many more different sectors. Many of us know Samsung for mobile, TV, fridge, and electronic items only. And when Xiaomi and Realme Chinese brand entered in market, then everyone thought Samsung will go bankrupt like Nokia because we don't have any idea of Samsung as real size. And today, after Google, Samsung has largest contribution in Android and also in whole world. Without Samsung, creating a smartphone is very difficult, whether it is Google's Pixel phone or Apple's iPhone. Now, you must be thinking how a company selling noodles, fish, and vegetables built such a big business empire. The story is very interesting. Samsung has been in the news for many controversies, and it's fast for expansion. He had to go through wrong paths many times. Let's know everything in detail in this video. This is Lee Byung-chul, who belonged to a rich family of South Korea and started Samsung Trading Company at the age of just 28 years. And for your information, let me tell you that Samsung in Korea means 3 stars, where the number 3 shows big and powerful in Korea, and star means everlasting, and today, big, powerful, and everlasting is a perfect word to describe Samsung. But it was not like this in the beginning. Samsung used to be a small trading company which gradually expanded its business to the whole of South Korea and some nearby countries. Its head office was in Seoul City, and when the war started with North Korea in the year 1950, by then, its name was included in the top 10 trading companies of South Korea. And friends, the real story of Samsung begins from this war. Due to the war, they had to shift their base from Seoul to Busan, and the condition of the business became such that it became difficult to survive. Forget exporting, people became dependent on imports for food items. As soon as the war ended, Lee decided to diversify his business and started working to make cheap products for the people. Sugar cane is produced on a very large scale in Korea, so Samsung started with a sugar refinery and entered the textile industry with its profits so that the need for cheap clothes could be met for the people. Samsung started Korea's largest woolen mini and started making clothes as well. Friends, Samsung's diversification saved the company from sinking, so Lee started following this strategy even more aggressively and started investing its profits in different areas. Samsung also opened many of its departmental stores and also entered the insurance business. Even today, Samsung is Korea's largest insurance company. All these business expansions, Samsung started earning so much money that Lee Byung-chul became the richest man in South Korea. Then came the year 1968 when Samsung decided to enter the field of electronics, and within a year, Samsung Electronics launched its first product in the market, which was a 12-inch black and white TV. In the next few years, Samsung became the world's #1 TV manufacturer. This success motivated Samsung to make more electronic products. Samsung launched microwave in 1979, air conditioner in 1980, color television in 1981, and personal computer in 1983. But they soon realized that they had to depend on some other company for the small parts of all these electronic items. So they bought a semiconductor company and started making parts for themselves. Then they increased the production capacity of their semiconductor chips and started exporting them globally. Today, Apple also uses Samsung's memory chip in its phones. Apart from this, Samsung has some such divisions. You will be shocked to know about their size. Samsung Heavy Industries is one of the largest sea builders in the world. It has another division, Samsung Construction and Trading, which works on road tunnels, bridges, and very large building projects. And as I told you in the beginning of the video, Burj Khalifa of Dubai and Twin Towers of Malaysia were built by Samsung. Apart from this, Samsung runs South Korea's largest theme park, Everland, many luxurious hotels, and an entire town, which is known as Samsung Town. Now, perhaps those who thought of Samsung as a mobile phone or consumer electronics company, it was barely a small part of the top of the iceberg. Here we have not even mentioned Samsung's nonprofit foundation, which includes Samsung's University and Medical Center. Yes, Samsung Medical Center. A young entrepreneur starts a small business, diversifies his business in different markets. There is no obstacle, no challenge, and in a very short time, he builds a multi-billion empire. This story sounds like an incredible business success, but this is not the whole story, friends. The story behind the success is very controversial, So let's understand the dark side of this success journey. But before that, if you're interested in entrepreneurship, business, and finance, you can join our RTHS VC club, where you get mentorship from top entrepreneurs and business leaders. And also, if they like your business idea, you can get funding up to 30 lakh rupees. So join now. The joining link is in the description. After the war, South Korea's economy was ruined. Production and export had completely stopped. The Korean president wanted to expand his economy, and for this he supported big Korean groups. But the method of support was completely unusual. Big businesses like Samsung and Hyundai were given loans on easy terms, and tax concessions were given so that their business could grow and the country's economy could also grow. Even when Samsung entered the field of electronics, the Korean government reduced the tax imposed on electronic companies by 50%, and to save them from competition, the government banned Japan and many countries from selling electronic products in South Korea and forced consumers to buy Samsung products. Samsung got many such benefits, due to which it was able to stay far ahead of its competitors. And some reports say that even the American Relief Fund received after the war was used for the benefit of Samsung. And all this was happening because of Samsung's founder Lee, who was known for making strong political connections and was a good friend of the South Korean president. And due to this friendship, Samsung always got a special treatment. Like other companies, there was no export limit on Samsung, and they never felt any problem in expansion because the doors of government banks were always open for them. Although the Korean economy also started benefiting from Samsung's fast growth, especially in the form of employment, many people started getting jobs, but small Korean businesses started getting ruined because how could a small company stand in front of a government-supported giant like Samsung? Samsung became so powerful that in whichever new field it entered, it had the power to destroy other businesses, and in this way, the economy of South Korea, knowingly or unknowingly, started getting affected by the influence of one company. Samsung became too dependent on others. Samsung was heavily involved in different industries of South Korea, and in 2014, Samsung alone contributed 17% to South Korea's total GDP. The story of Samsung and Hyundai is also similar, but Samsung is the biggest among them. And the way the entire Korean business empire was taken over by a few small companies, most of the money and influence of South Korea went into the control of 2-3 business families. After the death of William Chun in 1987, his son Lee took over his place, during whose time the relationship between Samsung and the government became even more controversial. In 1996, he was accused of bribing the former president, but due to Samsung's government connection, the then president forgave him without taking any action. Similarly, in 2008, he was found guilty of tax evasion and a scam, and along with removing him from his post, he was also sentenced to 3 years of imprisonment. But the next year, the then president pardoned his sentence, and he again became the president of Samsung. He became the chairman as if nothing had happened. From this, you can understand the relationship between Samsung and the Korean government. Even after this, he was accused of bribing government officials to make his sons the head of Samsung. Then his sons and he were found guilty of bribing, but no action was taken against them. Today, no one has the courage to raise voice against Samsung. People know that raising voice against Samsung means raising voice against the government, and most of the people of South Korea have now started believing that no one can defeat Samsung now, and it is above the government rules and laws. Now, friends, you must be understanding the background of Samsung's journey mentioned in the beginning of the video. It is also important to mention an incident in Samsung's history which shook its reputation and market share. This is the matter of 2016, when news of blasts in Samsung's Note 7 series mobile phones started coming. News of phone explosions was in the media all over the world. It became a headline. Even the phone was banned in airlines. So much pressure was put on Samsung that it had to ban the production of the phone and recall the phones in the market, due to which Samsung suffered a loss of $5 billion. The company had told that the reason for the explosion was the battery of the mobile. But later the truth came out that to meet Apple, there was a dire need of a feature-rich smartphone, which Samsung got prepared in a hurry by the design team and engineers, and without proper testing and quality control, a dangerous phone was launched in the market. However, even after all these controversies and bad practices, Samsung continued to be successful, continuously presenting its innovative products one after the other, which increased its size, revenue, and its hold in the world. In the last few years, cheap and feature-rich Chinese phones have definitely reduced Samsung's market share in India, But the current sales figures show that people's love for these Chinese brands is now decreasing. And once again, Samsung is going to make a strong bounce back. Hope you like this video too. I will see you soon with a new video. Thanks for watching.